Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today we're gonna be taking a look at Sophie's makeup look in the 4th season of Bridgerton, because I know you're watching that and we're all waiting for the second part to come out, which, by the way, why? Why must we suffer so? I get it that life is hard, so why is Netflix doing this to us? Anyways, Sophie's makeup in part 1 at least has been really clean, but at the same time sophisticated, because she is a maid. Spoilers, by the way, I don't know. She's a maid, so she needs to blend in. But at the same time, we have seen a different side of her during the masquerade ball, and we're gonna focus on that. I found an article from Glamour in which they interviewed the makeup artist of Yerin, the actress, and in this article Nick Collins gives us some details about the products she used and what she was wanting to achieve. Of course, I don't have the same products, but we are going for the same vibes of Sophie. I think that Sophie's makeup look is one that can be easily recreated in a day-to-day kind of setting, because it's very subtle, but it looks very good. Of course, she has great skin. She told in an interview, Korean skincare, that stuff. So her skin is impeccable. Mine isn't, but we're gonna try and do our best. Here it says cleansers, moisturizers. We use the Embryolist moisturizer to prep the skin. Tatcha, Caudalie. We use different types of skincare depending on what the skin was doing that day. She also mentions the use, of course, of SPF, so we're gonna start with that. I'm gonna use the Madagascar Centella Yalu Cica Water Fit Sun Serum. This is the best hybrid between SPF and moisturizer that I've tried so far. Usually SPFs are very heavy on my skin and I feel like they really become oily. Like the more time I have them on and I have makeup on top of them, the oilier the makeup gets, and I don't love that. I dislike the feeling of having oily skin, like feeling my foundation becoming oily, especially on the here on my eyes where I have my glasses, so I can feel them sliding. Not great, let's not delve into the details, but this one, I feel like it's the lightest one I have ever tried. And yeah, we're gonna use this one because it's also super moisturizing, because it's water fit, so it's a serum, and it's also gonna contribute to that like glowy skin and hydrated skin feel. I feel like every time a new season of Bridgerton comes out, everyone is always raving about the makeup looks. Personally, I feel like my favorite season in terms of makeup and not storyline has been season 3 with Penelope. I feel like they did such a great job transforming Penelope from someone that was very, I don't know, she felt more like a wallpaper, like kind of in the background, and then in season 3 she really popped, and the makeup look that they gave her were like incredible. She is stunning and she fit those brilliant like colors really well. I love that. I would say that Sophie's makeup is not really what I go for, but I can definitely see the appeal, and since I found this article, I wanted to try. So you can see how this has left my skin really hydrated. I'm also gonna apply a bit of moisturizer because they used one. I'm using the Aveeno Calm and Restore Oat Gel Moisturizer. This is my go-to moisturizer. It's very lightweight, but even so, it still protected my skin during winter when I was in Italy, which definitely had a more like harsher cold weather. Every time I apply my moisturizer, I feel like my skin has drunk like 2 liters of water. It makes me feel so good. They do not mention this type of product in the article, but I still wanna use it because I feel like it helps. I'm gonna introduce the Forever Glow Star Filter from Dior. I have it in the shade 0. So this is gonna make my foundation become even glowier. And of course I'm gonna focus it on the cheeks because Sophie has very luminous hydrated cheeks. I'm gonna pick up a bit and I'm just gonna have this here. This does operated like kind of a filter because it is luminous, but it is like it blurs. So it also has a tiny bit of coverage, like the smallest amount you can think of. I'm also putting it a bit on my nose and here on my chin. You can see how that helped. I would say that we're done for the skin prep and we can move on to the foundation. They said that they use the Armani foundation, the Luminous Silk. I don't have that one, but I'm gonna use a low coverage foundation and one that I really feel like it almost applies a filter on your skin. I thought about this multiple times in a lot of my videos because I love it. This is the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Enhancing Tint. You gotta shake it before using it. It's very liquidy in consistency, so you can see how runny it gets. I don't use a lot, and I feel like this is the type of coverage that Sophie has. First of all, because she has such great skin, she doesn't need more than this. But also they were really aiming at that like fresh, bare skin look. So a skin tint is definitely what I would recommend using if you are trying to recreate this look as well. That Dior product is really helping enhance my cheekbones. She definitely has better cheekbones than I do. So we need all the help we can get. In the article, they also mentioned that she had some concealer on, not too bright, so basically one shade brighter than her actual skin tone. So I'm gonna use this Best Skin Ever concealer from Sephora. I think that it's a good shade for me. I'm gonna use just a tiny bit because we wanna keep that fresh looking skin, but I'm also gonna try and mask my redness because I do have it. This is a very moisturizing and very easily spreadable concealer. It's easy to work with. Sometimes I even use this instead of foundation when I'm feeling like really lazy. I'm always afraid to lose some of the dots I made and just forget that they're there. If you're hearing noises, it's almost the weekend here and there are kids playing in the pool, in my neighbor's pool. So yeah, I'm gonna try to drown them out with Animal Crossing music, as I usually do. I've also applied a tiny bit on my eyes because I want to cancel out my veins. Next up, they say they applied a little bit of powder where needed. So I'm gonna use my Candy Cloud Set from Kosas in this is it, like the pinkish shade. I'm gonna use a fluffy blush. I'm gonna use a fluffy brush because I don't want to apply too much. And I'm only gonna use it in my T-zone. So here, also being careful not to apply it on my cheeks because we have that Dior product there. I'm applying a bit on my eyelids to set my mixture of concealer and foundation. They don't talk about Bruno eyebrows in the article. I'm gonna give myself eyebrows because one of them definitely needs help. And we can move on to the eyes. So they say we used a Dior beauty palette. It was as close a nude color to her natural skin tone with the base on. It's sheer rather than shimmer, not metallic, and it just really elevates that eye on the top. It's a nude natural color, but it's got a punch to it with a light glimpse against it, which is nice. So they did use a Dior palette. They don't specify which one. I wasn't decided if I wanted to use this shade here in this limited edition Dior palette. It's the Soir de Bol, or if I wanted to use my Chanel palette, and I think I'm going for the Chanel because the formula is basically the same, so it's a sheer satin shade, but here I have more like nude options to choose from, and I really like this palette. In fact, I did make a whole video like reusing, shopping my stash, if you will. So I'm gonna use this like nutty brown here, and I'm gonna use the tiniest bit. I want this to give me some depth without overpowering my lid. So Sophie wore a mask, of course, so her most prominent features were the eyes and the lips. They said that they really focused on the lips and not much on the eyes, because I feel like under a mask you can easily just lose everything you do on the eyes if it's in the shadows. I think this is a great shade for what we're trying to achieve. I'm also gonna put a touch of this same shade on my lower lash line to frame my eyes. She did not wear an eyeliner, which is something that I'm currently dreading. I cannot live without an eyeliner, but we're gonna stay truthful to what she had going on. I also wanna use like this cream shade. It's always a satin. I'm gonna use it in the inner corner to really make the eye like subtly pop. Can you see the difference? I mean, I can. I'm not sure how much it's picking up on camera, but it's like the tiniest, smallest detail, but I believe it makes a difference. I am gonna apply a mascara. I'm gonna use a brown mascara because I feel like it's more natural. So I'm gonna use the Nabla Beyond Bold Mascara in the shade Deep Brown, which is this like huge wand. I really like this shade of mascara. It's basically the only one I've been using lately. Let me know in the comments, by the way, who is your favorite Mr. Bridgerton? I would say my favorite is Benedict, but I did enjoy season 2 the most so far. The whole enemies to lovers trope always gets me. So this is it for the eyes. She had a really luminous blush. It might have been just because she has really great skin. Drink every time I mention her great skin or something like that. But I don't have that type of skin, so I'm gonna help myself. I'm gonna use a luminous blush. I'm using the ColourPop Not Your Baby Super Shock Blush. This is new from their Valentine's Day collection. This is a very lovely blush. If you want to see more of it, I have all 3 shades. I have a dedicated video trying them on. But this is like a warm pink, and it has the most beautiful sheen and pearl to it. I really like it, and I'm gonna apply it, of course, in the apples of my cheeks. So this combined with the Dior product is gonna give my cheeks like really an inner glow, and hopefully it's gonna make them pop because she has better cheekbones than I do. I wasn't expecting season 4 to be so like Cinderella troped. I have not read the books, so I knew nothing of what I was getting into, but this really is like a Cinderella retelling. And just like in Cinderella, I feel like it's kind of frustrating for me how the prince, like the love interest, never seems to recognize the girl. Like, what? It's almost like Superman. Like, you put on a costume and somehow you are a different person. You have glasses and you're a different person. I think it's crazy. I mean, in a masquerade ball, it kind of makes sense because you're not seeing all the features, but still, you heard her voice. Is literally looking at all the girls, looking for her lips, and she indeed does not look at her lips. Like, why? Is he blind or something like that? Anyways, that's it for the cheeks. So for the lips, they really focused on them because, as I mentioned, it really is a feature that Benedict keeps looking for in order to try and recognize her. And they said, we use the Clinique Chubby Sticks because they are so sheer, but they have a really good color. They use the Chubby Stick in the shade Super Strawberry with the Roly Poly Rosy as the final coat, layered up the tones to get that little punch, and then use the Precise Lip Liner in Friend Zone, very, very gently, kind of a no lip line, but it really just picks up. It's as close to the lip shades as possible, so you're really just punching up that edge shape to show that pout in the middle, and then using a little bit of the base around the outside. We were trying to keep it all looking very natural. So let's start with the lip liner. I chose the Rhode Peptide Lip Shade in the shade Lift. This is a very like rosy but taupey at the same time lip color. And I feel like it's great for a no makeup kind of lip liner. So I'm using it to contour. They mentioned specifically that you don't see the lip liner. So I feel like this is the perfect product because it really is more of like a smudgy type of liner. And I can use the other end of this to really smudge it. I don't want this to be super precise. It needs to be as natural as possible. And here it is, our lip liner. Then they use the Clinique Chubby Stick in a strawberry shade. I don't have that. It is more of like a vibrant, balmy product. So what I'm gonna do is use the Nabla Beyond Blurry in the shade Aphrodite, I don't know. This is like a reddish shade. It's very intense, of course, but I'm gonna pick it up with my finger. And this is a Beyond Blurry formula, which means it's made to be blurred. So I'm just gonna apply a tiny bit in the center to make my lips really pop, like this. See how rosy they are suddenly? Then I'm gonna use my foundation sponge and cover up the sides a little bit, like blur them, to really make them blend in. This is something that they mention in the article. And then to give that sheer sheen, I'm actually gonna top everything off with a balm. I'm gonna use the Phytosurgeon's Calm Conditions Lip Balm. This is in the shade Tender Tides. And it is like a rosy, super sheer product here in the center. And we have these juicy lips. Just to conclude everything, I'm gonna spray some Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. This is gonna help like refresh everything and blend everything together so that you avoid like having any excess powder that is unblended. I don't have one of these fancy fans, unfortunately. This is my Sophie back makeup look. Let me know in the comments what you think. I think that it's such a nice, fresh, romantic look. And I would say that this is a good makeup to use on Valentine's Day, now that I think about it, since this video is gonna go up on Friday before Valentine's Day. So this is the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching it. And I hope you consider subscribing. It takes you 0.1 second and it's free, and you have more makeup content on your feed. It really helps. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in my next one. Have a good one. Bye!